Running your own business is not all roses and rainbows. It's hard work, frustrating at times, and it can feel lonely and isolating. Nevertheless, there are plenty of reasons why it's worth being your own boss. But there are potential problems you might face in your journey to becoming a full-time entrepreneur, and in the next few minutes, I will point out some of them and share strategies for how you can deal with them. Hello and welcome to the Savvy Corner, where you can learn how to manage your money, your business, and your mind around it. My name is Alisa and I have been running my financial coaching business since 2017. I learned a lot since then and I'm still learning now, but there are some things I wish I knew at the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey, which would have made the transition easier. This is what we will discuss in this video as part of the series Ready for Entrepreneurship, where I share practical tips and strategies for making the jump to entrepreneurship smoother. I've interviewed some amazing business owners on the things they wish they had known before making this transition, and I will share their wisdom and mine during the series. Today's video will highlight what it's like to be an entrepreneur, the emotional implications that not many people talk about, and what you can do to prepare for it and cope with it. First of all, there is a mindset shift that needs to happen when you become a full-time entrepreneur, which needs to reflect the fact that you are no longer an employee, but a business owner. In some cases, especially in the beginning and if you work alone, you will be both an employee working in your business doing the day-to-day tasks, as well as a business owner, the CEO who has a strategic role and works on the business. This dynamic can shake you a bit if you're not prepared for it, and some of the entrepreneurs I interviewed were taken by surprise by it and experienced it almost like a culture shock. Working in your business is of course important, but you cannot afford to neglect your duties as the owner of the business, to look at what you are doing strategically and ask yourself if your daily actions are conducive to the goals of the business and in line with its overall mission. Being swamped by the daily grind can lead to a place of overwhelm and can stall your creativity and your ability to see the bigger picture and act accordingly. I filmed a separate video where I talk about the difference in mindset between a business owner and an employee, and I strongly encourage you to watch it. I will link it for you at the end of this video and in the description box below. Closely related to this mindset shift is building what many of the people I interviewed called your entrepreneur identity. What do I mean by this? First of all, it's a matter of what you believe in as a person and how those values inform your business's mission and vision, as well as the day-to-day activities that take place in your business. If you move into entrepreneurship from a corporate environment, you will notice this the most perhaps. All the guidance around culture and how we do things around here will now have to be decided by you. And it's easier said than done. I see this all the time in my work with coaches who believe in helping people as one of their core values. But that sometimes comes into conflict with the fact that they need to charge for their services if they want their coaching business to be financially viable. Resolving this dilemma is part of the internal work that you can expect as a new entrepreneur. Also, when it comes to marketing, you are now selling your own services instead of selling something on behalf of somebody else. In a way, it can feel like you have to sell yourself, and that can bring up a lot of emotional barriers. A few entrepreneurs I've interviewed were surprised to notice that despite being very good at selling inside a company, they found it difficult to do it for their own business. So this is an important aspect of the entrepreneur identity I mentioned. If you are in this situation, perhaps my video on how to be a better negotiator might help. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do a separate video on the topic of selling and how to approach this as a service-based business owner. And finally, this newly created entrepreneur identity has to do with leadership. You not only have to lead the business, but you have to lead yourself from the front. In the words of one of the entrepreneurs I interviewed, no one is going to tie your bootlaces for you. Developing your identity as an entrepreneur will take time and experience running your business, but you can have a taster by testing your entrepreneurial skills on small projects, debriefing those projects and identifying what comes easily to you and what doesn't and why. Learn as much as you can about yourself before you make the jump to running your business full-time. If you're enjoying the video so far, please give it a big thumbs up. This video was inspired by the tips and advice shared by these amazing entrepreneurs. I will leave their contact details below if you want to check out their work, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank them for their contribution. Another thing to be aware of is the emotional roller coaster that comes with running your own business. One day you're happy because you get a new client or you sign a contract, and the next day you might have been rejected for a piece of work, or you are anxious because you don't know where your next client will come from. I talk more about rejection and how to deal with it in this video. Being an entrepreneur can be quite scary, especially in the beginning, and one of the people I interviewed described it as being on a high wire without a net. Where the next client is coming from, whether your business will survive or not, it's all on you. And that can be a good thing because you make all the decisions, but it can also be very lonely. And in fact, a lot of the entrepreneurs I talk to, myself included, have experienced loneliness at some point. To give you my own example, when I started as an entrepreneur, I didn't have anyone in my immediate circle who was running their own business. All my family members and my friends were all employees. So it's not just the fact that you work alone physically without a team around you, but also socially speaking, for me, it was quite an adjustment. One solution to combat loneliness and uncertainty with regards to where business is coming from is networking. A vast majority of the entrepreneurs I interviewed said that networking with other business owners and building meaningful relationships has been and still is hugely important for the success of their businesses. Not only will other entrepreneurs understand the mindset shifts and the practical shifts that need to happen and what it's like to run your own business, but they can also refer business your way, suggest collaborations, and support you on your journey. If you can start to up your networking game before you go full-time into entrepreneurship, that would be even better. If not, start where you are and build meaningful relationships with people. Even if they are ahead of you on the journey, you can still find ways to offer them value and therefore set the stage for them to reciprocate now or in the future. Another thing that helps and which can come as a consequence of networking is to build a support system around you. This can be in the form of a mastermind with people who are on the same path as you, whose expertise and opinion you value, who can contribute to your progress, and for whom you can make a contribution in a similar way. It can also be in the form of working with a coach or a mentor and joining business groups and memberships relevant to your area of work. But let's not forget the support systems that you should build at home and within your circle of friends and family. It might be that in the beginning you need some extra help with house chores, childcare, or even financial support in some cases. Have those conversations, enlist help, and set some ground rules from the outset. Going on your own doesn't translate into literally doing everything on your own. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe for more similar content. Until my next video, I will leave you with the two that are suggested on the screen now. Thank you so much for watching. That's it from me for today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.